All right, let's talk about an appraisal gap strategy. When do you need it? Why do you need it? And how it comes about. So, most situations, you find that perfect house, you start the process, you get the appraisal ordered, and then all of a sudden the appraisal comes in short. And you're like, what do we do? And you go back to the seller, you try to get them to renegotiate, and they won't. They're like, hey, we have multiple offers, or hey, we have one solid backup offer. So the price is the price. Either make it work or we're going to go with the backup offer. So this is where this strategy comes into play, and it's critical. And we discuss this on the front end with our buyers so that they understand the solution that's in place and the options that they have available to them. So if this problem does arise, don't sweat it. We got it covered already. So we like to start off with our typical loan of our purchase price of 550 with 20% down and a loan amount of 440 with a 7% rate. Again, it's just for illustration and example purposes. It's not intended to lend or quote in any way. So this gives you a total escrow payment of $3,362 and your cash to close, which is your 20% down, and your closing costs of $118,000. So you go out, you find that house, you get it or get the appraisal order. It comes in a couple weeks later, and it comes in $30,000 short. What do you do? And most lenders, what's going to happen is they're going to restructure the loan and say you've got to come up with the additional cash. And when restructuring, we're talking about, okay, maintain a 20% down, loan amount of 416, same rate of 7%. Now your payment's a little bit less because you're financing a little bit less. But now here's the kicker: your cash to close went up from 118,000 to 142,000 to make the deal work. You're like, Mike, I just can't do that. There's got to be a different way. That's where our strategies come into play, and that's where we're different. So we've maintained the same 520. And again, this 520 is critical because the lending laws state we have to go off the lesser of the appraised value or the purchase price. In this case, the appraised value is less, and we have to structure everything off of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the down payment, keep your same loan amount of 440, same rate of 7%. Now your payment's back to where it initially was at 33.62, and now your cash at close also dropped from 142 back down to what you initially thought of 120, which is in line with what we initially thought we were going to need. So you're like, okay, that's good. But then what if you're tapped out at your 118, 466? You're like, Mike, I can't come up with any more money. I was stretched to come up with this 118 originally. So how do we make this work? We maintain everything over here. We adjust the payment just slightly. You go from 33.62 to 34.13 with some monthly MI, and now your cash to close is back down to 118,466. And that's how we maintain it and still satisfy the contract with the seller with the original purchase price of 550 and still maintain an escrow and getting your house closed. So the question then comes up of, I don't want to pay MI. Well, think about this. If you're over here renting, and let's say you're paying $2,500 a month in rent, over a 2-year period, you're going to pay $60,000 in rent. Okay. You take that and extrapolate another 5 years. After renting, after 5 years, you've got zero. You've got zero net worth because you've thrown all your money away. And basically, you take this $60,000. That's a $30,000 burn rate per year. So in 5 years, it's $150,000 you're throwing away in rent. Whereas if you buy, even if you've got the MI factored in, you have a $218,000 net worth. Now, some of that is because you're putting 20% down, but the rest of it is capturing the appreciation. The last 2 years, houses have appreciated by 6% from 2022 to 2023. Most people don't realize that. They think the value's gone down. They think the market's been terrible. There's a housing shortage. Home prices have continued to increase. So if you can lock in that acquisition cost, start capturing that appreciation gain as the homeowner and not throwing your rent away, that's how this 218 calculates so fast. So this is the strategy. Even though your payment goes up just a tad with this last one, that's how it's a cost of doing business, and it's a very good return on your investment. You get zero in return as a renter, whereas potentially upwards of $218,000 even with the MI factored in. So there's ways to get out of the MI and everything else, but it's a brilliant way to make it work. And then if I said, like I said before, if you can come up with the additional cash of $120,000, you don't have any monthly MI at all. So give us a call if you got any questions. We'll be glad to go over it with you in detail with your specific scenario. And other than that, have a great day.